What is an arpeggiator? Well, let's start by defining what is arpeggiation. It's an Italian word. It means instead of playing a chord like this, it means that we play it in a row, one note at a time. We can play it in different patterns, or up and down. But that's arpeggiation. And in keyboards and synthesizers, we have a tool called an arpeggiator that will do that, and all we have to do is hold those notes down and it will scan through those notes in whatever direction we pick. So on the ASM Hydrosynth, which I'm using because it has a great arpeggiator and all the knobs are out front here, so it's a really great arpeggiation demonstration tool. But right now I'm using a mode called up, and if I turn the arpeggiator on, it's going to take the notes that I'm playing and play each of them in a row going upward. And I can make that go down. I can make it go up and down. Now notice it's repeating on both ends. Often I can have a choice to not repeat on the ends. I can have it play in the order that I played, so now I'm going to play in my own little order here. And so that's cool for when you're playing in real time. You can almost create your own sequences in real time just by being careful of what order you hold the notes down. Then there's random, which means I don't know what order it'll be in. It'll be in different order every time. Then I have a chord mode where it kind of just plays the chords all together. And some of them have a phrase recorder where it's kind of blurring between an arpeggiator and a sequencer, where I'm kind of dictating what it's going to do. So the arpeggiator can go at different speeds. I'm going to go back to up and down. And I'll speed it up, and that happens by changing the tempo. And you can also pick what unit of the beat it's listening to the tempo. Right now I'm playing eighth notes against this quarter note. If I did quarter notes, it'll play half that speed. If I do 16th notes, it'll do double that speed. And if I do 1/32 notes, so it obviously is great for doing things you can't do. And an arpeggiator should be a must-buy for anybody who doesn't have the kind of chops where you can just amuse yourself by playing all day long. If you're more about the synthesis end of it, you can use an arpeggiator to create all these amazing things while you work on the sounds themselves. So some other considerations. Now that I have this going, I'm going to slow it back down again. And I could change how many octaves it plays. So right now, it's just playing only the notes that I'm playing and then starts over again. But I could also go to 2 octaves. Now it's going to play all the notes I played, plus those same notes an octave up, and then go back. I can do it with 3. And even 4. And that really gives you a lot of musical flexibility of what you're going to do. And then there's some other things called gate, and this is how long each of those notes is held, whether they're very short notes like this, or much longer notes. On this one, there's another feature called Ratchet, which allows me to make each note repeat a certain number of times before it moves on to the next note. And I have another knob here called Chance that will affect how often it does that in a random way, which just keeps your arpeggiations fresh. I'm going to turn that ratchet off and show you the last feature here, which is swing. So instead of very, very even eighth notes or 16th notes or quarter notes, it does a swing, which is do, da, do, da, do, da, do. And so now you'll hear, I'm going to slow it down so it's more obvious. As I increase the swing, you're going to hear it do more of that swing feel. You can have the tempo be free wheeling. You can make it be whatever tempo you want, or you can lock that arpeggiator to the clock that's running everything else. This is really cool because when you start adding effects, so first thing I'm going to do is put a little filter on this. And now I'm going to turn up some delay, and the echo is also timed to the master clock. And now as I start adding those octaves and randomness and back and forths, all of a sudden you'll start hearing it's very effective musically. And so you can hear that you can do many, many interesting ambient effects as well as rhythmic effects and chordal effects. And because you're not having to worry about hitting the notes on time all the time, you can spend more time moving the notes and listen to how they work in a chord. And one of the really useful features of an arpeggiator is many of them have the ability to latch. In other words, once you hold your chord down that it's going to arpeggiate, you can then take your hand away and you can use both hands to manipulate the sound. Now, every brand does this differently. Some of them you have to step on the sustain pedal to keep the notes going. Some have a latch. Some have an intelligent latch where when you hit new chords, the old chord disappears and is replaced by the new chord, so you don't get a mush of all the chords playing. So I'm going to show you the latch real quick. So here it is without it. Take my hand off, it's gone. If I turn the latch on, thus leaving my hands free to do stuff like that. And there's also an intelligent latch where when I play a new chord, the old chord goes away. And that's my favorite because it lets me pick a new chord, play anything I want with the knobs, go back, pick a new chord, and then I'm free to go back to the knobs again. If you have any further questions about arpeggiators, the ASM Hydra synth, or other keyboards, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. My name is Daniel Fisher. Thank you very much for watching.